Welcome to Shays Spiritual Insights. So glad everyone is here, and let's begin. Boy, so much happening out there in the world. If you talked about, the incoming energies have been pretty enormous, and they've, been affecting everyone, and we've been seeing it just in world activities, and it's continuing out there. But it feels like now it's beginning to move further on into the pattern we're moving into. It's increasingly so. It's been that way for a little while, but I'm feeling like some more movement toward that. Stabilization and moving into the higher pattern. At least one of the plateaus that we're moving to. Not that we won't move to another one, but that's probably a good thing. So I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say. That was my short intro because that's about what I have to say, talk about. It's just, there's still the chaos out there, and we're going to see that for a while, but it does look like it's beginning to firm up and gel to the patterns that we're moving into, which is a good thing. And we'll see what happens from here. And with that, I guess I'm going to start in another pattern. I sometimes start at the top and go to the bottom. Sometimes the bottom go to the top. I'm going to start in the middle and start with Tonya. Tonya, do you have anything to share? Anything to say? Ask anything at all?
Hello, everybody. Yeah, I think I've missed a couple meetings here. I moved a couple months ago, and I'm still kind of moved again to a different house and just been super busy with new job and new
Yes.
um, living and everything. So I'm glad I was able to catch this one.
Well,
But
glad you.
yeah, I feel like I don't know. I kind of feel like at a crossroads of a decision where so I moved to Butte is where I am now, and I love it here. I love being in Butte. This is where I wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
I like my new job. I love my coworkers. I like what I'm doing. But I feel like it's a crossroads because it's not my calling, maybe, if that makes sense.
Yes, actually, it does.
So I don't know. I feel like I'm kind of stuck. Like I do want to kind of stay what I'm doing, but it's not what I actually want to be doing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. But it gives you, it looks like a working space for you to open up to what other opportunities. And there are going to be some coming up. Actually, you've moved on since we last talked, boy. Um, and, and you've moved in, I don't know, even if you haven't changed um, vocation so much. I mean, you've moved on to a new place energetically, and you're ready for more. And I'd say that's what you feel like the crossroads. You can feel. What I sense is that you can feel the light of the incoming possibilities that are out there waiting for you, but they are not quite here yet. Um, and part of it has to do why they haven't crystallized more. Is you're still Boy, you've been in, you said a crossroads. That's a really good way of putting it because it really feels like you're at a point where you're trying to really make some, I would say, if it were me happening in my life, I'd say I'm making some major life, choice decisions or, where do I want to go from here kind of a thing. And there, it feels like energetically or intuitively, there's two or three different ways you can go, directions, although they're all kind of related. Uh, Yet it hasn't quite opened up to your heart what what being called to do. So I would agree with you
Mhm.
at a crossroads, but it's coming in, and it's coming in on I'm going to say all three channels, all three possibilities. There might be more, but the three I see right now. Um, and part of it is waiting for you to have more clarity on what your heart desires, wants, from your life. Because it's this next move is a crossroads, not only in vocation, but your heartfelt connection with what you're doing. Does that make sense? I mean, having
Yeah.
a greater connection with what you're doing and an expression of you in doing so. And and it's out there for I mean, it's there for you to find. But all three of them, it looks like, whichever one you choose, may initially not, as you're doing it, like as you have to, once it comes to fruition and you start moving down that path, if you choose to do so, because you can stay where you are, but if you choose to do so, it may initially not look like what your intentions are. It's going to take some time for it to grow. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've had jobs like that before where I was just like, boy, I thought this was going to be the thing and it doesn't seem to be it. But as time went on, new threads of opportunities and new activities came in. And a year down the road into the job, I realized, usually in some level of hindsight, that, hey, oh, wow, this really kind of evolved into what I was looking for. I just had to give it time. And I think that's going to be true with whichever decision you make, of the upcoming ones. And again, and this is from your high self and one of your main guides, it's a definite possibility that you could stay where you are because it could change. There's some things coming up that I don't think anybody even in the organization knows about right now. It's coming. It's not a bad thing. I think it's an evolutionary thing. And I don't really know what it is. I can see it's like this ball of light coming in for you, for the organization. And hopefully whoever's running the place can be open to that because it's a real opportunity for the organization. But they have to be ready to do it. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a new contract, it's a new expanding operation. I don't have a clue what it is. That's being kept from me by the universe. It doesn't want me to know. So it's probably not for us to know right now. So it looks like some things are coming in for you, and just to be open, keep seeking and seek clarity for what you truly want as an expression of yourself and what you do. And it may not be so much in what you do, is in your ability to express yourself in whatever way that you need to do so. It helps you grow. And because this is an expansion of, this move in your work is also an expansion, as you already know, of your spiritual growth, your spiritual expression, shall we say.
Okay. Any advice for moving forward? Just patience and kind of stay the course for
Yeah,
the
I say,
moment?
yeah. I mean, what you're getting very clearly from the universe and your high self and your guides is stay the course where you are. Use this time to gain the clarity within yourself what you want, because it's not going to show up out there until we have the clarity within ourselves.
Right.
And
Okay.
that's the process you're in right now. And you've actually chosen to be in, and they're helping, and they help facilitate for you to be in. And this job, although it is not ideal, gives you the space to do that.
Okay.
Yeah. And again, it's a possibility this one could evolve into something that could end up being a choice, staying there. But right now, it doesn't look like that is where you are. So anyway, it's coming, but why it's not coming in more fully is because you're in your evolutionary process. So, and it looks like you're going to gain increased clarity. It may not be all the clarity you're seeking, but you're going to gain a sufficient amount to where I think you'll be able to move forward.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Well, thank you. I always love to hear about what's happening in people's lives. It's just so exciting, because everything we do in the world is just an outward expression of our inner being. It really is. Okay, I'm going to move. See, I'm going to do Jessica now. I'm doing this modified pattern this time. So Jessica, what do you have to share? Anything at all? Anything to ask?
Hi.
Hello.
So it sounds like Tanya's kind of on the same little path I am. The new job and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going to say something right up front. It's the same thing, only different. I know that's kind of an oxymoron statement, but
All
I've kind of
right.
found how in the spiritual realm it's so true. It's the same thing, only different. And yes, so yes, you are, and yet it's different. So go ahead.
Yeah.
I'd love to
Yeah.
hear about it.
Well, yeah, nothing's happened yet. So on that
Yes.
level, I'm still looking here, but Um, I had another question about, so I'd started on my little healing journey when we talked about lead a while ago.
Hmm.
And then, so I've been working with a functional medicine guy and then another doctor that's sort of functional too. And, um, I'm just wondering if like this is the right, if I'm going actually in the right direction, because it seems like I do one thing and then like all the stuff I'm doing doesn't seem to be changing a lot, like per labs and stuff. But I mean, I feel better, but you know, I don't know. And then like, so like I've been really low on vitamin D, and so now I've been taking all this vitamin D. But then I thought like, then I get feeling really weird, and then I'm like, well, did I take too much? And now I'm like overdosing, and
Yes.
there's no way to really tell. So, any insight on any of that?
Actually, yes, because Deborah goes through this all the time. So this is
Okay.
all familiar to me. And yes, it's going to kind of happen this way. So I want you to say this weirdness is normal, okay?
Okay.
Because you've got all these things that show up in our body are just, not just, they are physical expressions of the energetic things that are also happening. I mean, they're just, of all
Right.
the unfoldment that's happening in our life and the baggage and all the rest of that stuff. Anyway, so first I wanted to say I like the first guy more so than the second guy. It's not like the second guy's not that you named what is bad or anything. I think the first guy's really getting to some of the core stuff. And what's happening as things are getting cleared, it may not always show up in labs right away, but you are going to feel better. And I think you're going to continue to be guided to try move on to the, you'll feel like you've finished up one thing and it's like, and they may not, the people that you deal with may not think so, but you'll say, but if you have that intuition and you're guided to, to start moving into something else, I'd say follow that intuition.
Okay.
Because just like counselors, people in medical fields, even in the metaphysical, spiritual medical fields, tend to want to sometimes hold on to us longer than we need to be held on to. And I can tell you,
Right.
yeah. So you just let yourself be there. You're doing fine, and just let it happen. Adjust as you need to. Deborah's constantly having to do this. We get something in here, it solves one problem, it gets it up to speed, and that allows something else that's also been a problem, been buried there for a while. Now it can come up, and all of a sudden it looks like, oh my gosh, things are getting worse. No, actually, things are getting better. It's just
Okay.
they're just coming up to reveal themselves, and when they do that, all of a sudden we have this stuff happening in our life that we have to deal with. So try not to do all things at once. Kind of that's one of the things that Deborah's had to really focus on is keep it. She'll do 1, 2, maybe 3 things. She'll work simultaneously on it and keep her eye on it. And she's learned her patterns as you are right now, that your body's going
Right.
to reveal to you. And as you do that, you'll figure out how to approach when new things reveal themselves, you have to work on. You'll have insights on how to handle it. So. And with
Okay.
that said, I'm going to shift gears on you a little bit. When you first started talking, all of a sudden they showed me, they as being your higher guidance.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it has to do with your job, medical, or kind of, your physical health things, or kind of both because they're related. I think there's going to be an opportunity for you to kind of, and this is in your nature to do this, is to jump in with both feet. Into something, just kind of move into something. And I don't know what that something is, but it's coming up in the next month and a half. Again, it could be health related, it could be job related, and it could be both, because I found the energies that seem to be this thing over here and this thing over here that seem totally unrelated in reality are coupled. They just, in our outer life, they're two different things, but at the inner level, they're kind of tied to the same thing. The source of the expression in the physical health world and in our outer world of doing and being and the activities that we do, whether it's a job or whatever, sometimes they have the same source. And this looks like it has at least a related source. And it's going to come up with I don't know if it's an opportunity or something where you're going to move into, you're ready for this next phase or this next step. And it looks like you're going to jump in, I'll say prudently with both feet. And it'll be a good move for you if you do choose to do that. And you'll probably, I think you'll know what it is when the time comes. And just know it'll offer itself some challenges, but it's going to really offer some real opportunities as well. So you can get moving on. Yeah.
I was talking to somebody and they were like, we were talking about maybe learning functional medicine and like adding that to my healing stuff.
Yeah, it may. I'm not sure if it's going to be that. It could be something like that. It may be that. I don't know. I feel like it's going to be something else as well. But it'll be one of those things when Deborah runs into things, all of a sudden it resonates with her, and she does the research, and she has it. She understands it in a way that others do not, and it's incredibly powerful when you have that kind of connection to what you do, because you can do things that others won't be able to do. I think it'll be along that line.
Okay.
Yeah. Wow.
Okay.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Anything else? Anything else at all to share or ask? Anything?
Oh, it's just been quite the, I don't know, so much is changing and like shifting and like all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I can let that go. And then, so it's been really cool, but also difficult. I don't know. And watching other people lately, it just, you look at them and go, who are you? I don't know if other
Yeah, and
people
that's because as you say, it's your evolution. It's happening, and more so with people on what we refer to as the committed spiritual path. I know you've heard it before, but that's really what it is. People who are on the committed spiritual path are open to allow things to flow more than those who are stuck in their worldly perspective. And that's what's happening with you. Yes, new things are coming in, new connections are being made, which are, helpful for you to move on. Stuff's going away. And you're going to see that in your relationships with other people, because as we let go of things, some of the common threads that we may have had with someone in the past may not all be there. We may still have some, but our relationships evolve as we evolve. I guess that's my short way of saying it. Yeah. Yeah.
Gotcha. Awesome.
Wow.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Well, thank you. Is there anything else before we go?
That's it at the moment.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to Marci now. Marci, anything to share? Anything to ask? Hopefully you're staying warm.
Well, I'm pretty zonked out right now. I've been half functional today and half totally non-functional.
Mm-hmm.
Of just feeling, that feeling when you're unraveling.
Yep.
How your whole body's bubbling. So I'm pretty zonked out right now. But we did the Hawaii thing, my son and I. It was awesome. We had adventure, and we had relaxing time, and also looking at land, real estate. It was intense, because it's Hawaii, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I did feel really good there, and I felt solid there, like you had mentioned that it might be doing the groundwork and then coming back.
Mm-hmm.
When you did Pat's session, and by coincidence, right at the same time, the lady that's the hostess for the B&B that we stayed at offered me like a 20-minute intuitive reading, because that's what she does.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was right when you were doing the thing with Pat, and afterwards, mostly the rest of that day, I was higher than a kite. It was amazing. I don't know what you and Pat came up with exactly, but I'd be curious to know if there's anything you saw, because I know I was in on it in some strange way.
Well, because of our connection with one another, yeah. So it's when things happen to one of us, whether it's a session or whatever, if the universe knows that you're, for example, you're ready for things, and Pat is just being willing, open conduit for the energies, which Pat, you usually are, you could be the recipient there, and I think you were. So, and the energies that come to you will be the ones that the universe and the divine, your higher guidance, know you need, because of the connection that we all have with one another. So I would say that's my short answer to what happened. If you want to know more, we can talk offline.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, it was really good. The lady was, she kind of placed me in each place, different areas on the island, and said, yeah, I was like a resonant energy, or have a resonant frequency to a couple of the different places. And she explained why it was more challenging here, that it was a denser energy, and the cold kind of amplified it. And so it wasn't as easy to be a clear channel. It was easy for me to be a clear channel there. And that felt really good. And we did find a piece of land that by accident, really, that we just came upon. And it was just covered with every kind of plant. It was so gorgeous. And it was also like about 4 times what I would be comfortable spending. So, I was keeping in mind what you said, that I would know in my heart if it was the right place. And of course, I'm just coming unglued with all these beautiful plants. But there was still, I don't know. There were still challenges or whatever that would come with it. So I wasn't 100% sure of it. If that makes any sense.
It does. And when we talk, and that was kind of the short version, because we're here in this very limited forum, but in time wise, but it would tell you if you have a connection there and whether there's things to pursue, and then you can know whether or not you want to pursue it, or if you could have gone back there and it was also a possibility. You get there, you say, you know what, this isn't it, and it kind of just ends there. But now you're open to the possibilities, and then as you're open to possibilities, other things can reveal themselves. And it still may mean that you stay there, and it may mean that as you pursue these things and move to and work through them to their logical conclusion, or to where they reveal to you what you need to know, it could still possibly be a thing that you come back, but you'll have insights about coming back. I don't know which way it's going to go right now. If I were to guess, it feels more Hawaii than not Hawaii, but I don't know what the end is going to be for you. Yeah,
it feels like that to me too. I just wasn't solid on that piece, because it did have some challenges to it for sure.
And it feels like other things, other possibilities may come up for you though, just so you know. Yeah,
it was cool. It was awesome going there, because, it was a really long trip, because the kids here are next to a real small airport. So we ended up driving like 5 hours to San Francisco and taking a flight from there. So it was a really long trip. And when we got there, it was getting a little bit darker. And the first thing I saw when I got out of the car in this regular little neighborhood was the biggest Holstein cow I've ever seen in my life, just standing there looking at me. and so of course, with all the Hindu, all that I've been, a part of or embracing these last years and stuff, it was like a comedy, because here's this big sacred cow looking at me. So, yeah. But it was amazing. It was intense. And, oh, okay. Paula told me to say this one thing. We went to South Point, which is it's where there's a cliff that goes down. It's the southernmost point of, I think, of the U.S. actually. If you kept going, you'd be in Antarctica. So we were on the cliffs, and we found the rope where they climb back up after they dive down. And so we climbed down, and it's open ocean, and it was hitting against the cliffs, but it was fairly gentle as far as open ocean goes. And my son got in. He had his fins on, and I didn't have mine on. And I was on the edge of the cliff, kind of looking and assessing it and getting up my nerve. And and as I'm doing that, the swell came up, picked me up off the edge of the cliff, took me out into the water, and I just experienced it. It was amazing. And then I'm looking, thinking, how will I get back up? And the swell brought me right back up and placed me right back on the ledge. So it was really magical. It was amazing to feel that support from the universe. Was amazing.
Yeah. So what do you think it was telling you?
Well, I just felt safe. I felt loved, and I felt welcomed. Like Hawaii embraced me, and yeah, I felt good. I felt in my perfect place.
Yeah, and I think it was a reminder from Hawaii, from the goddess there, and the universe and your higher guidance is a reminder that you're in the hands of the divine being taken guided. So, and it was like they made the decision for you. You took a leap of faith, and they helped you make the leap of faith. So you know what I'm saying is it's a reminder that we are all guided if we just are open to it.
Yeah, it was really beautiful, and I did feel the Pele connection on the island too, and have that, and yeah, that's always really you
That's
get
why I
to
was
cry a
talking.
lot.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about, Pele. This, yeah. So
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's kind of all I can think of, unless there's anything else you want to share with me.
no, I think you already. I'm going to tell you what you already know, which is confirm that there's more to follow. That you have to explore this. I think you're being guided to explore this some more and see where it leads you. Not only as a place for you to go, but an exploration of your inner exploration of what about you and what you want, and what place is going to fit into that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so I think again, I think it feels like there's more for you, Hawaii, and there's other opportunities there, and I think there's some possibilities for you to be there, but there's also possibilities that are going to be elsewhere. But right now, as I said, it feels more like Hawaii than not.
Okay. All righty. Thank you.
Thank you. Wow, the wave. That was Pele picking you up, taking you, and putting you gently back in her loving care. So, wow. Wish I would have had video of that. That would have been nice. Too bad your son didn't have video of that. That would have been good, great. So anyway, thank you for
It
sharing.
would have.
Yes, I would
Yeah.
love to
Thank
see
you.
it. All righty. Well, we're going to move along here in this somewhat random pattern. Paula, do you have anything to share, anything to ask, anything at all? I'd love to hear what you have to say.
Oh, hi, everybody. Mars, thanks for sharing that again. I just have such an overwhelming love as you said that, and I saw the whole visual of the wave and the absolute love that was
Mhm.
shared with you. Ooh, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking of it again. I don't really have, the only question I guess that came up tonight is we're talking a little bit about different body things going on. And I'm wondering if I've completely missed what my shoulders are trying to tell me. I've got like rotator cuff issues on both shoulder that
Mhm.
just came out of the blue. And it just occurred to me there's a message there that I just wasn't aware of until now.
So what do you suppose it is? I have a short answer, and I think more will come in, and I'll be able to, maybe we can email or talk later some more as it comes in and solidifies. But what do you think it is? I'm having an initial answer for you.
I had a small glimpse of it, and it feels it. What it came to me was I'm trying to carry too much of a load.
That's exactly it. You're carrying a burden of things that are not, they're part of what you once did. You're moving, and it's not for what you are to continue to do. That's why it's happening. It's a reminder to you to let them go, to, evolve, whatever it is that you can do. If there are things that you can just quit doing, great. If there are things, if you don't need to do them, sometimes we do things just because we're so used to doing them. We've got patterns and behaviors and things we do. And if it's other things that can be handed off, whatever. But yes, it is for you to let them go, give them off to the universe, and be guided to what you are to do.
Excellent. Well, thank you for that clarity. That some interesting things came in with that. So other than that, I'm content. I got home from my quick trip, and it feels like my voice for sharing within the family feels stronger. It feels like I've stepped over that little threshold of what are they going to think, and I just don't really think that anymore. I just say it if it comes up.
I can confirm that, and there's more to follow on that. As you kind of solidify further into that is, hardens, solidifies more within your psyche, your spiritual psyche. More is going to come. And I think there's some more regarding your shoulders. And when it comes in, I'll type you something and send you an email. Okay.
Well, other than that, I'm just thrilled to be here. The energy, as I'm sitting here, I just get so caught in the energy. I start kind of wanting to drift off a little bit, just because it's such a blissful feeling being with everyone. So I'm going to just be quiet and listen.
All right. Well, thank you. Oh, thank you for sharing. I like that one, because when we have these things happen, like the physical symptoms are so often. Again, I'm kind of a broken record on this, but it's so true that with females, because of the archetypal nature of the female body and the spiritual construct of the female, when we choose to come in the female form, when a person does, that it manifests in the bodies. And when that happens, it's a real outer reminder that at this level, it's time for us to do different things, do things differently. And you got the message. So that is so wonderful.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, I'm going to go to Pat, although I suspect she was going to defer. Do you want to share anything to share, Pat, or do you want to wait till go last?
I will wait and go last.
Oh, I should know that by now, but I just thought I'd give it a try. So, all righty, Franny, hello, and do you have anything to share, anything to ask, anything at all?
Hi, everybody. It's really nice to be here. So, thank you for doing it. And as others have said, just being in the energy is a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
I have a few questions for you. One is that I had a situation with my nephew, and I have a lot greater clarity around that and what I want to say and what my role can be in supporting him, like
Mm-hmm.
the kind of support I can give him. But I haven't talked to him. And on my end, it feels like there may have been some shifting or something happening on his end. And I need to just reach out and talk to him. But I wanted to see if you could get a read on that, has something shifted on his end? And the other is that because of that situation, it has complicated my thoughts of maybe visiting them over the holidays or sometime between now and the end of the year. So I find myself doing this dance of, I'd love to go see them, but if I'm not giving him the help that he wants or thinks that he needs or deserves, then it may not be the right time to spend time with them. So anyway, if you could shed some light on any of that, I would be grateful.
Yeah, there has been a shift, and you've sensed it because of your connection with him. You're very intuitive, sensitive about picking up on the things, and it looks like he's shifted into considering other possibilities. Although I'm not sure he's entirely acted upon any of it because he's still waiting, I think, for something from you. And I can confirm. I'm going to say, boy. I'm going to say I confirm that you're feeling about that. And if you went back there, I think there'd be some tension because of the dual nature of they're looking for things for your help, or from you. At the same time, you're visiting. There's a Christian financial guy. You may have heard of his. I'm trying to read. His name escapes me right now. But anyway, he had talked one time, and I think this relates. He talked one time. One of his callers called in and said, "Hey, listen, my father-in-law says he'll loan me the $100,000 to build our house." And he said, "No, I don't recommend that because then when you come over during Thanksgiving, it's going to be hard to eat that turkey while knowing that at the same table of the person who's not only your father-in-law, but he's also your financier." And that's what the kind of the tension you're feeling there is, that tension of the dual role of being there, involved in what can you do to help, and visiting. It feels like there's some tension there, and I think most of it's created from his end.
Mhm.
You're feeling
So
it.
if I say no, I'm not able to help in the way that you would like me to help. Maybe there's something else I can do, but no to your initial request. Does that clear the air and allow him to move on, or does that keep the dynamic in place of like that tension being there, that kind of unsettled situation?
I'm going to give you kind of a pseudo answer on that, in that it'll clear the air that he's going to realize, although it looks like he always keeps in the back of his mind, there's a possibility you might change your mind. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So I want you to know that. That's in the
Okay.
back of his mind right now. But even if he does, it'll help him start moving in that direction. But then, and I'm tying this into possibly you're making a trip, that could create some dynamic, a tension dynamic because of the different energies happening there. So
Mhm.
your sense of I'm a firm believer when we have a sense that we should or shouldn't do something, we really need to consider that. I think that's our inner nature kind of telling us, letting us know where things are. And your intuition's pretty doggone good.
Mhm.
You're
Okay.
usually right on the money on that. So
Okay.
that's the thing, and I want you to know it's on his end.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
because he's created the situation that's put you in the position to where now you have to make choices where you want to be there in one capacity, but in doing so you can't be there in another. If you do it in another capacity, it changes your ability to be there. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a
Mhm.
darned if you do, darned if you don't kind of a situation, all with the best intentions of helping move the whole thing forward in a positive way.
Mhm.
But it's his dynamic that we've previously discussed that's causing this.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
he still got that. And I'm telling you, I don't even think he fully is consciously aware of it, but he's still got some of the back of his mind that somehow, some way, it may change, and you'll change your mind about certain things.
Okay. Okay. That's good. I mean, it's good for me to know.
Yes, good for
Good
you
for
to
me
know.
to know,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
important for me in terms of, how I say it and
yeah.
being really clear about how I want to support them. I think things are going really well for me. It feels like they're real steady right now. Like when the days are sunny, it doesn't matter how cold it is. Like I'm able to sit on the porch and I just feel so good.
Mhm.
I just feel really blessed and really grateful for the place that I live and for even being in Northwest Montana and kind of out of the fray of the, other busier parts of the world. So, my work is slower and that feels really good to me. And I don't know if that's going to shift or what. But I'm just going to ride the wave and just enjoy the way it is right now. And I do have a couple of clients where there's a lot of distress and a lot of trauma. So it actually feels better to have lower numbers so that I've got more bandwidth to process and work with some of the bigger stuff or the more difficult emotions. So, um, yeah, all of that feels good. And I'm just really grateful for that opening in my schedule. Um, the other thing, I don't know, I feel like I have some short-term goals and I know some things that I want for myself, in the next couple of years, but I feel like I need like a 5 year or 5 to 8 year kind of, I need to set some goals that are a little bit further out. And for whatever reason, I don't know what I want to do. Again, I have some ideas, but it, I don't know. I don't know. I have, it feels like a completely wide open canvas, and maybe it is. Um, and I'm just curious as to why I have some fogginess or uncertainty about setting goals that are a little bit further out than the next couple of years.
Well, it's funny you say that because as you were talking, your high self was talking too, and she was basically showing me this picture. And it's kind of, you said a canvas, that's kind of what I saw. And what it looks like is if you're not careful, it's all going to get, you're going to have all these kind of different things you want, so, some of them related, some of them disparate, but kind of all things that you want to get done, kind of crunched in there, and it will get jumbled a little bit. And so it's good to have a further one out. And I think you already know the answer to your question. It's because part of you really wants to wrap things up, just kind of wrap things up so you can have your peaceful life and that sort of thing. At the same time, another part of you recognizes, and I think rightfully so, appropriately so, that you need to have some things expanded out, and that's what your high self wants you to do. Mainly, she's the one talking right now. To have, some of the bigger things out there so that you don't get it all scrunched up into one little thing and then one thing jumbles into the other and it looks like everything's going real smooth and then all of a sudden everything kind of ends up in a ball, ball of paper, kind of scrunched up. So it's all doable. It's just, getting it out. And just know that you're going to move into this time of peace and relaxation and, I'm going to call it semi-retirement when you're ready. I don't know when that is because I don't know that, although you've kind of it looks like to me, they're showing me that you've set these horizons of time that you would like to have. I'm not sure how solid they are, because part of you likes to keep there's like some unfulfilled thing here that feels like it needs to be expressed. That's what it feels like. And that's why it feels like things aren't as clear for you as you would want. And I think you're not completely sure what that is yet. I think I know, but your high self just told me to not to say anything. So I'm going to honor that. She wants you to find it.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah. And it's just,
Okay.
now you're ready for it, by the way. If you say, and I don't think you're not asking this, but as you know, sometimes we have to get these things done before they're going to reveal the next thing that we need to work on. And that's what this one is.
Okay.
Yeah. But she did say, longer one for some things, shorter for others, wherever it makes sense, so we don't try to overdo it, which is what her concern was, trying to get it all to fit into some shortened time horizon that isn't necessarily reflective of what these unfulfilled things that you need to express will require.
Okay.
Does
Okay.
that make sense?
It does make sense. It does make sense. And that leads me to another question, like, and it's especially helpful to hear that idea of kind of stretching it out and having a longer runway. Like, don't, yeah, don't compress everything because then it'll be just sort of a mess. Um,
Yeah.
that leads me to another question of like, and uh, I want to be able to help my niece who is at a community college right now, and then at the end of the school year, like May or June or whatever, she'll finish there and then transfer to a 4-year school and finish up her last 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd like to be able to help her financially with that. So I guess um, you know, I guess I just want confirmation or something that would let me know that that is a good plan and that it will, my intention would be to help her get launched, like to help her finish college and then, get out in the world. Uh, she went through a really rough time when my brother died,
Mm-hmm.
and she kind of, it was hard. She was only 16 and she kind of stalled out after high school and didn't really know what she wanted. And so to see her so reinvigorated and in school and loving what she's doing is such a wonderful thing. And so I want to support her in whatever way I can. So, any thoughts or comments on that? Any wisdom from my high self about my role in helping her?
Well, what I'm getting is your role on that. What you're to do is we're a little bit in the preliminary phase, which means things are, beginning to gel, but they're not set. And what I heard one of your guides say, maybe it was your high self. I'm not sure who it was speaking, but you are to help her help herself. And
Oh,
you may be able to help. You may end up doing some financial, and I think you probably will help some financially. But I feel like there's some things you can do to invigorate, inspire her to seek some possibilities that could also help her. I don't know if it's a scholarship or some other grant or whatever, as far as financial help. But it feels like there's some other things available to her that she doesn't know about yet or has not explored yet. And somehow you have a part in that. And I don't know what that is. I think it's one of those things you're going to explore on your end what you can do. She's going to explore. And all of a sudden, how it sometimes as some conversation that comes together and you realize what you need to do. Something along that lines. But I think it's we're still a little preliminary as what you need to do. I think she's again going to explore what possibilities are for her and what avenues are available to her. You're going to look at what you can do and what you can do to help her help herself. And in that together, as these things come together, it's going to bear some fruit of some possibilities that you may not even be aware of yet. Some possibilities for opportunities for her that may not even require you to have to support her as much. But it'll be a good thing because it will be help her grow in her knowledge of her abilities.
mm-hmm,
How
mm-hmm,
it'll confirm to her, hey, I can do this thing.
mm-hmm.
Even more so.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. She's real bright, real
Yeah.
resourceful, um, and real motivated. So she'll follow through. It won't be like wishful thinking of, oh, I should have done this. But so I think there is a role for me to play in terms of like just emotional support and being somebody she can bounce ideas off of as well. Like, I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, and what's your perspective and that kind of thing. So I think just being a sounding board and also having the life experience that I have. So, would uh, would it make sense at all for me to go visit with her and to see the college campus, or would that be premature? And I don't mean this year, I mean like maybe next summer or late spring or summer. Would that be a good idea or not a good idea?
What I got was not yet, and it may be later on, and you'll know. It just let
Okay.
it unfold, and you'll know all of a sudden. Hey, oh, I need to do this. She'll realize, hey, if she makes other choices, it may not precipitate that situation coming about and you won't need to visit. You won't know until the time comes.
Okay,
Yep.
beautiful. Thank you so much. That's all that was on my mind tonight. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I'm sure she's going to go far in life. I'm pretty certain of it. It's what it looks like to me.
Oh, that's good. Good
Yeah.
news.
I'm not going to there's other wonderful things too, but I'm going to keep that to myself because her high self doesn't want me to say. So I just want you to know there are good things for her to come. Some challenges as well, but there's good things, many good things coming for her way.
Yeah, yeah. I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Since Pat has chosen to go last, I'm going to go to Lisa and see what's happening with Lisa. And I know she's really busy all the time, so that goes without saying. Lisa, anything to share? Any questions? Anything at all?
Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm doing well.
Yeah, I got so busy I forgot about the call. So I was like, oh no,
Well, you made it.
I'm on late. I've actually been sick. I'm just getting over a cold. And but
You
it's good to be here with everybody.
Yeah, and if I can just I don't mean to interrupt you there, but your cold is I got somebody called it the crud. It's more than the cold, not the flu, but it was definitely, pretty much there. And it had to do with stuff that you're releasing, just so you know.
Okay. I was wondering, I was going to ask you about it because, oh, let's see, it's been 2 weeks. So probably the week before I got sick, I'd been just getting hit with energy at night. I wasn't sleeping. I was really run down.
Mm-hmm.
And then on a, I went on that Thursday. I went to the government center and sold that day and did pretty good. And then about a day and a half after that, it hit me. And, yeah.
And I'm going to share what happened. And this is interesting because this happens. So many things that happen in our life are happening within the soul group. And the reason why they can happen in our life is because the energy is there that allows us to tap off of that to get our stuff gone too. And you had this big, huge blob, I'm going to call it a blob of stuff come up. It's a whole bunch of different things, but kind of all is a part of a group. This looks like a blob to me. Boy, older stuff, some intermediate, it doesn't matter what it was, but it's just a whole bunch of it came through, and that bunches of it went, but it really did. Boy, as on its way out, you definitely experienced it in this illness, this crud that you had.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So you let go of a bunch of stuff. Not you. Your high self wants you to know that. Your master guide wants you to know that. And who's that other one? The one you talk to a lot. Male. I'm getting him energetically now. I'm losing his name.
Jermaine?
Yep.
Okay.
He's that's it. I get him energetically, and then his name leaves my brain. Yeah. They want you to know that, and that seems to be really significantly important for some of the things you have been doing that have facilitated for you to move on to things that are waiting for you. You needed this blob needed to go for that to happen.
Okay. Because
yes.
the other thing I wanted to share, what I noticed is, we did that big session with you and Deborah in September.
Mm-hmm.
I came back and I was just trying to finish up windows and things outside and then get ready for my shows and just super busy. But I hadn't really noticed, I guess I hadn't really noticed a lot of shifts like I was hoping for.
Mm-hmm.
I did have one opportunity where I had made a Morse code bracelet for a lady did it right away, and I did that. And then she contacted me maybe a month after that,
Mm-hmm.
and she would like to be able to buy these for my new coffee shop that I'm opening. So she ordered 30 of my bracelets,
Wow.
and I just sent those out last week. So that's really kind of the only thing that's really kind of happened. It feels like in my work has really slowed down once I got sick. Stuff has been really dead. Um, and then I tried to get into this other show in Moses Lake, and I had the same thing happen to me that I had back in with the show in Idaho, where I would be emailing them, and I haven't been getting any responses back from them. They actually emailed me and said, yes, we'd like you to come. These are the things you can bring. And so I responded back to them right away. And a week went by and there's nothing. And then I responded again. I said, are you getting my emails? And again, I got nothing. And then in the middle of that, I got sick. And so I was like, maybe I'm not even supposed to go there. There's such a thing, dynamics happening right now. So maybe that's because of all the stuff I was releasing.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah. And you've now moved into, it's like I'm seeing you coming out of a thick brush where you can't, a canopy where the light, you got some light, but all of a sudden now you're moving into open up into this, to the plain, to the lush Serengeti. And then now there's some, you're moving into some brightness of opportunity because that's gone. And it's really bright, so I can't see anything yet. And sometimes then once our eyes adjust, we can see things. And I think that's where you're in right now.
Okay.
I don't know what's coming up, but you've moved into this next phase. And both your master guide and Saint Germain and one other are very much, boy, they have some things, there's some stuff they have waiting for you, and they don't want me to know what it is. It's good. It's good stuff, but they, boy, they're real clear on that. They're not going to tell me. So, yeah, and it's good. And I think this is all, sometimes the steps don't happen the way, as the way we think, and they have to happen that way so that the things that we truly need and what is really waiting for us can happen. And I don't know how soon that is for you, but you're definitely that blob of stuff getting it done. And I think that probably was why you weren't to go there. So this could be complete and you can now be free of it and moving on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there still stuff coming out? I know I still have stuff in my my chest. I still have a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, and you still have some remnants that you're on the tail end of the blob.
Okay.
Some little tentacle stuff, a little I can see if you imagine a jellyfish, you got the main jellyfish and you got a few little tentacles hanging down. You got a few tentacles and stuff finally coming out.
Okay.
And they really want you to let it happen. And you're of course prone to let that happen. You're actually you're very much focused on doing that very thing. So don't have to say much about that. Yeah. No, you're just moving into it, and I'd like to tell you more. Boy, and it's a good thing you're moving into. Now they got my curiosity up, so we'll see what comes in. If more comes in that I can tell you about, I will.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just had one other question. This is about Esther's cat. And I went and did a healing on her cat actually the day that I got really sick. And there was just some really dark, gunky stuff coming out of that cat that I was really surprised to see. And Esther finally just took her cat in on Monday, and the cat has a mass about the size of a golf ball, but it's not on any organs. And the vet wasn't very good that she talked to and didn't really give her much hope or anything or really any direction other than she thinks the cat needs to be cleaned. But I'm just wondering if you could give us an idea of what's going on with the cat. It feels like the cat's ready to leave, but the cat's pretty young. And so,
I can answer that, but I'd like to get your because I think why do you think that's happening? And I think you know the answer to that.
that the cat's leaving.
No. Why is the cat manifesting these things? Why?
Well,
'Cause really yucky, boy, real heavy.
I think the cat's been picking up all the stuff from the people that are staying with Esther. Also, when Esther was gone, a lot of the time she had a lady that had cancer that lived with her for about 9 months. And then, of course, that lady would stay in the house with the cat. And then just picking up stuff off of Esther,
Correct.
from
Yes.
Esther. And Esther's, I just had a conversation with her and she's like, yeah, but I'm really good at cleaning myself up. And I said, it doesn't matter. We all are taking stuff on. We all can't, we can't always get it all cleared out. And our pets just naturally absorb that stuff. You can't really keep them from doing it. I tried. So,
That's it.
okay.
It's a yucky environment there. I mean, I'm just going to leave it at that. Yeah, I don't need to tell you. You can already see it, especially that basement. Oh my gosh.
He pulled up in the basement.
Yeah.
They're having a house built. And when I was doing the healing and I saw this like kind of like almost like it looked like a bat but gooey that came out on my hand and I was like, ugh. I was
Yeah.
like, what the heck is that? And what I got intuitively, I was like, I said, are those guys drinking downstairs all the time? And she said, yes. And I said, you have to keep the cat upstairs. I said, the cat is taking on that stuff. And Esther was gone a lot this summer.
Mhm.
So is there anything that, like, can I go and do some healings on this cat, or is this cat just done?
Unless the cat can get out of that environment in the situation, and Esther has a whole bunch of her own stuff, and I don't want to get into it here. You already know. You already know about it, so I'm your high self says I need to say nothing. You're already aware of it, and I can confirm it. Unless you can get out of that environment, no. The cat's really prone to that, and that's unfortunate because it's really physically manifesting things that are happening energetically, and it's really super yucky stuff in that basement. Some really heavy duty stuff, negative entities and all that.
That's what I thought.
Yep, that's what you're seeing. There's more than one. It's a
Is it
bunch
coming
of them.
off people that are staying there?
They're being attracted there.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're finding and the entities are telling others, and they're coming and they're all kind of having a party there, kind of in a negative, yucky kind of way. I'm trying to make a little light there, but it really is. It is as you say, and it's even more so than you know, and that's coming from.
Okay.
Yeah.
What if she took the cat to her daughter's? Because that's where the cat originally came from.
It would be, the daughter's environment's much better.
Okay.
Wow, much better. But it's going to have to. Then you could do some cleansing on the cat.
Okay.
But make sure you protect yourself because there's some stuff because of some baggage that you still have. Just keep yourself well shielded because you can inadvertently you'll get rid of it, but just to be forewarned, just know that you've got a couple blind spots that could be affected by this.
Yeah, Jessica has helped me kind of clean that gunk out because I got sick right after that
Yeah.
stuff.
That's it. But that all, and the good thing that came out of that is it precipitated this stuff coming up, and it needed to come up for this next phase of all this work that they have for you to do. And that you have for you to do. I mean, I put it clearly. They're just here to help facilitate your life plan. So.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Wow. Boy, oh boy. All kinds of things happening tonight. All right, Pat, are you ready? Can you share now?
Yes, So
Because you know you're last. I can't go anymore.
you can't go any further.
No, I can't.
So
No.
there's a lot of stuff going on with a lot of people. I can tell from our little group here. And I too, I have these very painful hips and especially one knee. And I know other people who of our spiritual nature that are going through a lot of pain and change as well. And then, of course, I had a super incredible session last week with you and Deborah. Um, it was just beyond words, you know, where it was taking me and connecting me and all that.
Mhm.
And I guess my question is, being that I am quite a bit older now, you know, there's a part, an aspect that comes in that's been programmed into me that, well, these things are happening to you, you know, because you're getting old. And there's another aspect of me, my higher aspect, that says, no, a lot of what you're having these pains is the old idea of suffering and the collective. And so I guess I would like to hear what you have to say about that for everybody.
All right. Well, I can share with you the social programming is definitely something that happens. And I'm just going to share a little piece of wisdom that June shared with us, decades ago. She said, never, as an example of this, never talk about your age. And it's not to be vain. It's because every time we say things, you know, use words that reinforce our higher nature, including those things that when we say our age, because when we talk about that, what brings it, it invokes some of the social programming you're talking about. Well, if you're at this age, these things happen. If you're at that age, those things happen. If you're, you know, whatever. And it's just not true. We make them happen to a great degree. It doesn't have to happen that way. So that's the first thing. So I would say yes. The other thing that's happened, and they just showed me, is that after your session, because you remember what happens in a session is from your guides and the divine do that. You know, we're the instruments and the vessels of the session. They are the ones that do it, and you're the one who determines. We as a recipient determine what's going to happen during a session, to some degree, because the more open we are, the more things that happen. And you were pretty open during that thing, very much so. And you've shifted up to this next higher level. I'm going to call it like, I don't know, it'd be almost like the next octave on a flute, you know. And because of that, and this is my long answer to your short question, is your environment needs to evolve with you. And your environment, not only your social environment and all the other aspects of it, but your physical environment, your house. So that, what I'm getting from, I'm not sure who that is. Well, I know who it is. It's Kay. Needs to shift with, that's Kay saying that. She's trying to be veiled, but I figured it out. It's her. Anyway, you need to shift with it. And I don't know if that means energetically, you know, feng shui, clean the house out, you know, energetically do it. And or at some point, if that means that the universe and your higher guidance is trying to get you to maybe move to a new place. I don't know what that is, but that's what they're talking about. Your environment needs to shift with you. Part of why that's happening. Some of these physical things. These are manifestations of being stuck in, you know, you're being in an environment of older patterns, and you need to be in the new patterns that reflect where you are now. It's a little bit obtuse in my way of explaining it, but that's what I mean. That environment needs to reflect it, and it'll help shift everything for your physical to be able to manifest to its higher pattern, i.e., be healed more. And I think that is something it needs to happen really pretty soon,
Okay.
like now.
I agree.
Was that you, Lisa? Yeah, I mean, they're real clear. It needs to happen now that you've chosen to have that session and these things have happened. This needs to happen in your environment. And Carol Glenn, at one point, she held on to her house had the same decorations for 25, 30 years. I don't know what it was. And I was using her as an example. And finally, she got a message from someone that she respected and said, hey, you need to clean this out because if you don't, you can't keep moving on. And she finally acquiesced and said, okay, I'll do it. And she was so glad she did afterwards. It just cleared. She got rid of like 3/4 of her stuff that was in the house. Energetically, the house got, I guess, cleared and cleansed and just really energized. And it really made a difference. And things shifted for her. Similarly, yours is going to be a lot more because your shift is pretty significant here. It's going to be even bigger than that. So, so this is what they're encouraging, and Kay is really encouraging you to do it now. And she says, please talk to her. She'll tell you more.
Okay.
She just said that.
You just said that. All
Just
right.
said.
Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Oh, you're welcome. And thank you, Lisa, for sharing too, because it's always good when, you know, when more than one person kind of is getting something, you know, it's interesting how that comes through like that.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I noticed when I visited Pat, that it wasn't matching where you're moving towards.
Yeah.
And then when you had the session, now it's really not matching. And I can share kind of some of the things that I've experienced over the last few years and I'm still doing it because stuff quick and stuff is shifting so fast that what I've found is like I've had to let go of a lot of clothes and just belongings and things because even colors are frequency.
Yeah.
And I had to change colors on my walls and in my, you know, my bedding and things that are matching the frequency of where I'm at. So I've had to let go of a lot of darker colored things that I used to wear all the time. And it's just these things don't resonate and I can feel it. And you know, it's been chaotic right now because I just haven't been able to keep up with stuff. But when I have it clean and I have more space and it's organized, I just feel tremendously better. And the clutter can really clutter also your mind. Is also what I found as well. So hopefully that's helpful for you.
Thank you, Lisa, and thank you, Jeff.
Oh, you're welcome. And one of the things that we had, I forgot which one of the seminars, and we borrowed it from June, and we had permission to do so. One of the things she said was, at some point, she says, clean out your closets, empty out your garage, give it away to people who are in need, because our energies get stored in those things. And I'm just going to echo basically what Lisa just said there. Yeah, but you've really moved to this high vibrational, brilliant sunflower, shining bright, and you're in this heavy environment. And I agree, it's even more the spread between where you are and where this environment. They want, I mean, multiple, your universe, your high self, your guides. And Kay, I think, is going to be someone who can really give you some practical. She said she'll talk to you. So when you do meditate or whatever, however you connect with her, she'll give you more.
All right. Thank you again so much.
You're welcome.
So, Pat, this is Paula. I also heard your house comment back that there's a staleness, and the word staleness was very adamant that the house is ready to be fresh. Sorry, my body's reacting to a freshness to the vibration that you're now at. The house is asking to please to be shaken off and brought up. Ooh, that's how it's putting it. Shaken off and be brought up to the frequency that you and John now bring into the house. That it's the new energy. It's all about the new, not about the old.
Awesome. Thank you, Paula.
Oh, boy. Thank you both. I love it. Have everybody. Go ahead. Is there something more?
Yeah. I wanted to say I feel so much better after hearing this conversation. And I want to tell Pat, if we don't do it, the universe will do it for us, and it's not going to be as easy.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They used to say it, June and Carol used to say it, if we don't do it, it was kind of a nice way. It was kind of, as in just what Marci just said, the angels will do it for us, and it's usually not I'm going to say it this way, it's usually not quite as pleasant as if we would have done it ourselves, because they're going to get it done because it needs to be done. It won't be necessarily harsh or anything, but it'll happen in a way that we're not quite as ready for it as if we just did it ourselves. So, yeah. Wow. Anything else, Pat?
No, that's a lot right there.
I know. And I want to share, Deborah and I are doing this too. We're getting just too good. We've been going through stuff and just getting rid of it. Here, be gone. And I share with Deborah, I have a box upstairs in the garage. It's been up there for 30 years. I open it, I look at the stuff, and in the past I've said, I just can't let go of it. And I finally said, no. If I haven't touched it for 30 years, this can't be that important. I'm letting it, I'm good, I'm dumping it. I may not even look at it. I may just take the box, take it out, and dump it. And not even look. That doesn't matter. So
Better to not look in the box. If you haven't gotten into the box, just take it out.
yeah.
That's what I've heard anyway.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I'm gonna do, because like obviously if it were that important I would have done something with it years ago. So anyway. Wow. Well, this has been an awesome time together. Just, boy, everybody sharing it, so much input from everyone. That is so wonderful. Because we each can add something that the other person doesn't necessarily see. So, well, with that, I guess I'm going to go around real quick before we close. And I'll start with Marci. Marci, do you have anything to share? Any last thoughts before we close?
Just thank you all for all the love that you are. It's so good to be together.
Oh, yes, I agree. Thank you. Tonya, do you have anything left to share? Any last questions? Anything at all?
Just a little bit of a comment that I'm definitely glad I got on tonight, because I think I've been so busy with moving, packing, job that I haven't been keeping up on doing things like this and spirituality and everything, and I need to. And so I'm definitely glad I got on tonight, and thank you all for everything.
Well, we're glad you're here. Just love to see you every time. Thank you. Jessica, do you have anything to share? Anything last minute thoughts?
Yeah, this has been awesome, and it's been really cool, all the things that people have been talking about. I totally resonate with, but I do have a question about, so also I've been trying to clean out clutter and I kind of get stuck. Do you have any insight about that? Like how I would get through it more easily?
Oh boy, this is going to be, I'm going to call it tough love. I don't know who said it. It was the Greek word Nike, overcome it. And it basically just do it. That's what they said. And in the it's actually more than one guide. They're staying kind of veiled, but it's definitely one of your guides, and your high self agrees. Just do it. And yeah, it's tough, but you'll be so glad you did.
Well, it's not about not wanting to do it. It's just like I get bogged down with, I don't know.
That's hidden aspects of ourselves that sabotage us, old patterns. That's why they said just do it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's why they said that.
Okay, gotcha.
Do it too. If you get somebody to help you, it's a lot easier
Yes.
sometimes.
Yeah. That's a good idea. Get
Yeah.
someone to help.
I know, which is it's awesome idea, but I don't know a lot of people who want to come over and help me clean.
Yeah, they're kind of aware of that, and there's some, your high self wants you to know there's some hidden aspects of yourself, and they're going to kind of remain more hidden than visible for a while, but as you make yourself do it, they will become more visible and you'll have insights about why this happens.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you. And Lisa, any last thoughts, questions, anything at all? Maybe Lisa stepped away.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's all right.
Didn't hear you.
Yeah.
Gosh, I wish I could have heard everybody tonight. It's been great being on the call. Just one quick thing. So, Poppy, my dog, she's had a little bit of a lung thing and kind of a cold. Is that, and she kind of had it before I got sick. So is she taking on some of my stuff?
Yeah, and some stuff, I don't even know what to call this stuff. It's I'm seeing it in the house. It's not like super bad stuff. It's just some, but I don't even, you take a look at it. You can see she picked up some energies that moved into the house, just heavier patterns. They just get cleared out. But also they were precursors to your stuff. She was kind of the canary in the coal mine a little bit for you. But you can clear it out. I think if you look around, you'll see it. It's in the one part of your living room. I guess what I'll call the living room.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty much gone now already, but it was there, and there's a little bit left, remnant. She picked up on that, and I don't even know what it is. So if you figure it out, please let me know. I'm curious.
Yeah, it could be. Well, I have all of my stuff for my shows in the living room because I have to pack it in and out all the time. So it could be stuff that I
Yes,
picked up from that.
could be. Yeah,
Feels like I need to do a cleansing on the house.
I think so. Yes, and it'll help the stuff, you, everybody. It's just, and it looks like you should probably do that on a semi-routine basis.
Yes, I need
Yeah.
to get back into that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you. Paula, any last thoughts, questions, anything at all?
No, just I just love how these conversations open each of us up to hear things that we didn't even know were there ready to come forward. So it's just always such a blessing. And
Oh,
I'll leave it with that.
well, thank you. And I'm just glad you shared. Now, and we'll see. I think there's more for you on your shoulders.
Okay.
It'll probably be fairly logical, but I think it's going to come through. And when it does, I'll shoot you an email.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Franny, you had a little sneeze thing going there. So any last thoughts, questions, anything at all?
Just what a delight it is to be here with everybody tonight. And I thank you, Jeff, for holding the space. And I also echo those comments about it's so interesting to see how the conversation unfolds. And then so many of us, we learn and we benefit from what's going on with other people. So, Marci, thank you for sharing the story about the wave. Like it just causes this beautiful image in my mind, and the beautiful blue Hawaiian water. It's just magical. And Lisa, I wanted to say if you need help with the cat, please feel free to reach out to me. I would be very glad to work on clearing energy or holding space to get the cat from where she is now back to the daughter's house. Like if there's any way that I can support you, I'm glad to do that. Um, I have some good allies in the feline kingdom, so.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right.
All right. Well, thank you. Wow. Wow. And that kitty cat really needs help. So, boy, any and all help for the kitty certainly would be good for the kitty cat. Pat, any last thoughts? Any questions at all before we close?
Just thank you all for being the wonderful lights in the world that you are, and on an everyday basis, it's more than we know.
Yeah. We're
Thank
so
you,
glad.
Jeff.
Well, thank you. And just blessings to all of you for being here and sharing who you are and sharing your insights with each other. And with it just, it's such a blessing to all of us. And I agree with what everybody said. And Franny, you know, it's amazing. All of a sudden somebody says something like, oh, that's for me too. I need to know that. So, it's just amazing how that synchronicity happens in the universe in our lives. So with that, blessings, light, and love. And until next month, we'll see you then. And let's end. Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Next
Thank
month.